Welcome back to the video. So, with Bushiroad's recent English Summer Conference, we have gotten the news that we will be getting Uma Musume on December 8th. And with that, we also got a pretty interesting hit right off the gate with Ignodictus and Trial Initiation, also better known as Inspection Start in the Japanese side, will be hit before the release date. So, we're going to be talking about how impactful this hit will be heading into the English side, and we're going to go give some context on why these cards are strong and how to possibly counteract that heading into December. So, where we're going to start off with is that we're going to be talking about these cards. We're going to start off with Ignodictus. This card, as all Uma Musume cards have, has Defeat ability that will become Racing. It also has Ward, but the most important thing is that it has On Fanfare. Look at top 3 cards of your deck. You may reveal an Amulet or an Uma Musume card among them and add it to your hand, while the rest go to the bottom of the deck in any order. This is most notably good in the Havencraft builds, as it can help fetch some amulets, but more importantly, with Uma Musume combining a lot of different stuff in their class, that this is a very important card for its consistency's sake. You'll hear me utter this word a lot within the main reasoning to why this needed to be hit to 1, similar to the hits of Shenlong. But this card is thoroughly really good, has a good use of Ward, and also is a pretty good top 3 consistency factor. So that's a good overall for as a cost 3, and it's pretty much on the gold rarity too. So it's going to be a heavy notable card heading into the English side. On the other side, we also have Inspection Starts. This card over here is a spell, 1 cost, and has choose one of the following. Either you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck, you may reveal an Uma Musume card from among them and add it to your hand, and the rest go to the bottom deck in any order. And then another one is choose a BNW follower in your graveyard and add it to your hand. This is more so for specific cards that have the BNW trait, but the more important thing is the first skill, which you can look at top 2, reveal an Uma Musume card, and add it to your hand. If you're playing a deck that is known for going in directly with Uma Musume, this is going to be reason why that this would have to be hit. So, the main reason why this is quite important is because it's the same thing as Ignodictus. It is a top checker and potentially add into the hand. So, it's pretty good overall, and this hits are notably strong because of its main consistency engine. The main reason why this deck is super good is because there are a lot of different cards that sync within this, notably spells in the case of Daiwa Scarlet, which has been arguably the main card that people have been asking to possibly be hit. With Daiwa Scarlet specifically, as long as this card is on the field, when you play an Uma Musume for the first time, you get to reduce this cost spell by 1. This really syncs well with Inspection Start, which utilizes cost, so you can basically play this for free and get basically trade a 1-for-1. So that means that you can play this out card and then get another pretty good card back. And with the amount of stuff that you have in the Uma Musume deck, like Agnes Tachion or stuff like Dance Festival, a lot of the main use traits of Uma Musume cards, unless they're specifically for followers such, then this card is pretty good for grabbing a lot of those Moan pieces out of it. And it's not specifically just talking about followers or such. You can grab spells, you can grab amulets, etc., and it's just a really nice card to help the bulk of your main game plan. So, what else they could have hit in this? Similar to what I'm talking about, a big focus on why the deck is pretty good is the utilization of spells as a thorough control deck, being one of the key main builds that you've seen topped in a lot of the Shadowverse championships and such. Interesting fact is that in the Shadowverse Japan championships, the finals actually had everyone have Musume and another craft. So it's quite overall good, and there's a lot of different pieces that sync with it, like Agnes Tachion, even especially with the Evolve side, which you can just basically grab a spell in your graveyard. Daiwa Scarlet, of course, being kind of like the main top ends and such, and can help garner Storm if you play a lot of the cards right. And then you have some for what I call answers, which is Dance Clamor Festival and Long Night with the Appearance. These cards are very good for utilization of quick spells, or to be even possibly used during your turn to go take out a lot of notable pieces. So these are examples of what they could have possibly hit, but I feel like the reason why they decided to not to hit them is because they kind of want to give respect to how Uma Musume was done within the Japanese side, but not try to like overall break the deck to make it thoroughly playable. A lot of what made it strong is a lot of these runecraft cards, and then if you combine stuff like Shower or 7 centimeters ahead, Narita Bryan, which is some stuff that I actually play within my own Uma Musume deck here on Untap. There's a lot of different nice sinks that this card can have throughout, and it's just nice utilization. And I think that the reason why they want to go hit those cards specifically is to stop getting a lot of these main cards from easily getting into your hand. So I think that that's probably the main reason, but I do want to also talk about how you can possibly counteract this. I think one of the biggest things that can come out of this is that even if they're hit to one for Inspection Start and Ignodictus, I think that there can still be a good stuff to use, such as draw engines, for example. One thing I'm going to be trying out in my deck in testing on my stream will be Rikka Top Road. Despite needing to have racing starts, you can draw 2 and discard 1 from hand, and it's a nice use to possibly draw out to take out and still get a lot of your main consistency engines. And what I also really like about this deck, even if you put these down to 1, for example, you get a lot of thorough space. As you can see, I'm playing 43 cards over here, but there's a lot of different areas you can go build within the deck. Rather, it's stuff like more focusing on Special Week, because Special Week is arguably the last use of the engine over here. So which you have overall at 2, which you can put top card of your deck and you can add it in. If this was hit, honestly, this deck would completely fall apart. But this is still thoroughly active at a 3, and it's still pretty overall good. What you can also do is to counteract that is play into it within cards like Daiwa Scarlet, as you've seen over here. The main fanfare, as you see, is when you play it, you can search your deck for an Uma Musume spell, add it to your hands, and if you still have Inspection Start, you can utilize this as a first use. And what's pretty cool, another line of play that can be used, is if you evolve Agnes Tachyon, you can basically choose a spell in the graveyard and then add it to hand. So that means, as long as it basically doesn't get thoroughly banished, which, unless you're playing like D-Shift or other stuff that banish spells, this will not be a thorough use of factor. So these are some potential lines of plays that could be counteracted. Again, these are some just nice overall theory craft. It's going to be quite interesting heading into almost the second half of the year to see how people counteract this when Uma Musume drops at the beginning of December. But I would like to know what you all think. Personally, what I think about this hit, I think that this is thoroughly fine. You do hit your consistency engines. And I feel like this is going to be quite an interesting challenge to feel like when these two are put into one. So I think I'm going to try to find some nice thorough balance on that. I like that I kind of get some extra room because I tried to add stuff like Pressure by the Approaching Heat, which is a good use of Storm, and a lot of different other stuff within combining crafts too. I tried to go more a bit of a faster paced Uma Musume in my deck, but I'll be testing out as time goes. Other than that, that's been pretty much my conclusion to see. It'll be quite interesting to see how chopping up some of their consistency engines to see how Uma Musume will thoroughly top, and we'll see if we get a lot more domination or potential slowdown within the competitive community. Other than that, that's been pretty much my take. Thank you all for joining in. Continue to embrace the darkness, and we will see you all next video.